Welcome back. So far, we've looked at how you can select a marketplace, which of course is going to be OpenSea. I then showed you how you can create your MetaMask wallet. And in the last video, we just looked at how you can actually fund that wallet and deposit Ethereum into it. In this video, we are going to look at the final two steps of the process, which is browsing the marketplace and finally pulling the trigger and making the NFT purchase. I am quite excited to go ahead and actually buy an NFT just for the purpose of this course. As I said initially, I wasn't going to do this when I first planned out this course. However, what good would that be for you watching this course? I want to make sure I provide as much value as possible, so I'm putting my own money on the line just for the primary reason of getting great content for you. Here we are on OpenSea. Let's go shopping and let's spend some money and let's buy an NFT. Now, before you start to browse the marketplace and get carried away, you might want to buy this NFT, that one. I highly recommend that you have a budget in the back of your mind before you even start to browse what is available. I've done it so many times. I've gone on to OpenSea. I've seen this awesome NFT that I love. It cost about 0.5 ETH. And then before I know it, I'm looking at another NFT which costs 10 ETH. So much more money. This is why it helps to be super focused before you do any browsing whatsoever. I guess it's kind of the same as when you go shopping in real life. If you know what you need to buy before you go in that shop, it's going to make your life so much more easier and you're less likely to actually go ahead and start putting some junk into your basket. Okay, so let me be clear. What am I after? I am after an NFT that doesn't cost any more than 0.03 Ether, as that is roughly about half of my balance I have in my MetaMask account. I've got 0.058, so basically 0.06, so my budget is going to be 0.03. So what else am I after? Well, I'm after this cartoon type of art. I want it to be really colorful. I don't want anything dull. So I could just go over to Explore and then go to Art. However, let me open that in another tab and I'll show you the problem with that. If you actually go by category from the Explore, you don't actually get a breakdown of the filters on the left-hand side. So there's no way for me to tell OpenSea, only show me artwork in a specific price range or even ones that are currently on for sale. It literally just opens up all of the art collections. So what I recommend you actually do is you close that, you go back to the home page and then you go to Explore. Then you go to all NFTs and that is going to bring up all the filters on the left-hand side. Once I'm on this page, I can then go to categories and select art. And now I'm looking at all of the art NFTs. However, I got my filters here ready for me to start applying to the results. As I only want to see NFTs which are currently on sale. For price, I'm going to change this to Ethereum from dollars. And my max is going to be 0.03 ETH as we just spoke about. Let's go ahead and click apply. And lastly, what I want to do is go to chains and I want to click Ethereum as of course my money is in Ethereum in my wallet. So I want to make sure I'm only looking at NFTs which match. And lastly, I'm going to change this from all items to single items. I can, if I want to, I can go to the sort by and go from high to low. That way I can see the cheapest NFT currently on the market that meets my criteria. However, for the purpose of this video, I will just leave it to the default. Let's get shopping. I actually quite like this little guy right here. Sushiverse. Okay, 0.02. However, you can see it says 2 days left. So what this means is this isn't actually available to buy right now. It's on auction and the auction ends in 2 days. So I don't really want to be waiting around for NFTs to end in auction. I want to buy something right now for this video. Oh, I really like this 0.02. This is quite cool. Let's open that in a new tab. Let's keep on scrolling down. What else do we have? Lots of these little clamshells, which are probably NFTs waiting to be revealed. Quite a lot of them, which is quite interesting. And remember, the value of an NFT all comes down to human psychology and how much you value something. Some people may really like these clamshells and other people may not. However, you can see we've got some really cool ones we've seen now. It's like pixel giraffes, like giraffes in hats. We've got an arrow going through that neck. That's quite cool. However, once again, these are all on auction, so I'm not really interested in these. Let's keep on scrolling a little bit more, see if we can find anything else which is a little bit cool. And now we have some floating bananas. Oh, this guy looks really, really cool. We've got an ETH burger at 0.01. That is really, really cheap. Let's open this guy. It's nice and colorful. That meets my requirements. Can you see how it's a lot easier for me? I know exactly what I'm looking for. And now I'm just browsing and looking for that exact thing. Okay, I think I've got enough open to decide. So I've got this person right here. And I have this amazing ETH burger. Looking at this image is actually making me hungry. Some chips and a burger. Wouldn't mind a bit of that for sure. However, I'm probably not going to get this one. It's making me a little bit hungry. As I showed you before in the previous videos, once you are on a listing, what you can do is actually go to the properties and just figure out how actually rare is this NFT. We can see that 11% have this trait, which is what? Holding a yellow spoon in the right hand. Again, not actually that low. If you really want to get a good NFT that's going to be worth a lot of money, you want to get one that has a trait of at least below 1%. That way, you know you have a good chance of flipping that NFT further in the future. If you're ever wondering, well, what actually does this mean, 11%? All you need to do is go back to the main category page here and then look at how many items in that collection, 2,500. So if there's 2,500 items in total and only 11% have this wooden spoon, well, that means there is about 275 NFTs in total in this collection which have the wooden spoon. I actually quite like the look of the other one a little bit more. Let's go ahead and look at these properties. We've got 0.01%, that's super low, 0.3, 0.2. This would actually be a really good purchase as it's super cheap and it's got a lot of rare traits. Let me go ahead and just go over to this collection. Just check this out 1 second. As we can see, 10,000 items in the collection. That's actually quite cool. It's owned by 1,000 people. So again, the whole collection is owned by a small minority. So it's probably not the best thing to go for. However, like I said, when it comes to buying an NFT, you can also buy things which you actually really like the look of. Which in this instance, I do like this. This looks really cool. This little floating ball above the guy's head. So what I'm going to do is pull the trigger and click buy now. Then going to check this box and confirm the checkout. However, before I actually go ahead and click confirm checkout, I want you to notice this fee right here, royalties, 10%. So as you can see, the creator of this collection is going to receive 10% of the sale from future sales of this item. At the moment, this is about $55. All this means is the creator is going to get $5.5 of this sale just for creating an NFT. And that is his way of making sure he gets credited for all the sales of the NFT he's created. So let's go ahead and click confirm checkout now. That is then going to open up your MetaMask wallet with the transaction where you can see your gas fee, which crazy enough is $137. Clearly, at the time of me making this purchase, there are a lot of people on the Ethereum network making a purchase in some way or another. And you'll see this fee here is actually going to change. So I'm actually quite happy this come up so I can show you exactly in real time how this gas fee changes literally every other second. You can see right now it's gone to $154. So I have two choices here. I can either add some more money to my wallet or I can leave it and come back at a later date. However, I actually really like that NFT we saw. It's actually by a verified collection as well as it has the blue tick. So instead of me being cheap and just buying any random NFT just for the sake of this course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video, send some more money to my MetaMask wallet, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to purchase this NFT. Okay, so I've just topped up my MetaMask wallet as promised, and now you can see if I click it, I've got just under $400 in there. So I hope you guys appreciate this. If you are, please make sure you leave the course a review. Let's go ahead and do that again. Click buy now, check the box, confirm checkout, and now we can see the gas fee is $109. That is all good. Let's go ahead and hit confirm. This is now processing, and in just a couple of minutes, this should have gone through, and this NFT is going to be attached to my wallet. There you go, the transaction has now been processed. So if you go ahead and click this and refresh the listing, you can see it says this NFT is now owned by you being me. We can also scroll down and go to the item activity, and you can see it's now gone from Doug10 Nepal, which is the person who owned it before, and it's now gone to me, and I bought it for 0.02 ETH. Which is actually pretty good as the person listed it initially for 0.1. So this person has actually made a loss on this NFT and I've managed to get it at a really good price. And remember, this is a pretty decent NFT. It's got lots of rare traits. Now, if I go over to my actual profile on OpenSea by clicking this up here, then going to profile, you'll now see I now own this NFT. It's from a verified collection and here it is in my account. Of course, I can go through this and actually rename this to my actual name. But like I said, this is just a dummy account for the purpose of this course. I may even send this NFT to someone who is watching this course in a little giveaway. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? But essentially, that is how you purchase an NFT. And one last thing I just want to show you, if you go back to your MetaMask wallet, and then go ahead and go to this part right here, expand view. Under the activity tab, you will see we have the NFT listed right here. $56, although we paid a lot more for that in gas fees. You can see it is now owned by us. This is going to be documented on the blockchain and no one can change this. There you go. That is how you buy an NFT. I hope you enjoyed it and got a lot of value from it, and I'll see you in the next section where I'll show you how you can find the best projects to actually buy NFTs from. As yes, it's all good to buy NFTs like this from the marketplace, but how do you know you're actually buying a good NFT that is actually going to increase in value? Well, I'll be covering all of that in the next section. I can't wait for it, and I'll see you there.